I've read a story about you as well, and in some research that you've done and some results that you found, but weren't able to publish some of those results and got turned down an awful lot. Can you kind of explain that
Yeah,
story?
well, under Dr. Good, I spent 5 years going through the records of Dr. Kelly. It started as a student project after my second year of medical school. But when I was doing my formal fellowship in immunology under Dr. Good, by that point he'd been pushed out of Sloan Kettering, was at Old Children's Hospital in Florida where we set up a bone marrow transplant unit. I finished my investigation of Kelly. I reviewed 10,000 of his records, interviewed over 1,000 of Kelly's patients, evaluated 455 of them extensively with multiple interviews. Some of them I even went to their home just to make sure they were really who they said they were, to see them do the therapy. And I had no vested interest in Kelly. We were objective outside academic investigators looking into his work. And clearly he was reversing advanced cancer, put all those results in a 500-page monograph, and thinking, Dr. Good, my mentor, has been nominated for the Nobel Prize, though he didn't win. He was former president of Sloan Kettering. He's the most published author in history of medicine. This is a cakewalk. We'll get this published. And for the benefit of mankind, not for my ego, because we were showing that this eccentric researcher, Kelly, a dentist by training, was really reversing advanced cancer with nutrition. Couldn't get it published. And I have a file of letters to this day from editors. They wouldn't write to me. They'd write to Dr. Good saying, you're crazy, this is fraudulent. Any name you can think of was in those letters. You're putting your career at risk. This will jeopardize your chance to win the Nobel Prize. Gonzalez has snookered you. Even though we had patients, we were following some of Kelly's patients in our immunology clinic. I mean, we had their DNA samples essentially, basically. I'm speaking of, metaphorically, but we basically knew who they were. We interviewed them. Dr. Good would examine them in our clinic. We knew these patients were getting well into Kelly's care. Couldn't get it published. There were editors, to their credit, who believed what I did was true, wasn't fraudulent. The fact that I would spend years trying to make up medical records is inconceivable, but that's what they seem to think. There were people who took it seriously and believed Kelly was reversing advanced cancer with nutrition. But their opinion to me, which they didn't write down, but would tell me personally, was that it was so controversial that should they publish this being 1986, 1987, it would cause such controversy and bring on the wrath of the AMA and the NCI and the academic medical community and the American Cancer Society. Their careers would be over. So we couldn't get it published. And finally, in 2010, we set up our own company and rewrote it and published it, and it's out there so the world can see it. There was an underground market in that monograph. We had typescript copies. People would copy them and distribute them, kind of like the Grateful Dead tapes, just give them away. But finally, we published it. So people can read it. They can hate it or like it, but there it is. This is a 5-year research study.